Okay, chapter 8 about the hazard of temperature heat. So basically, a human body can tolerate with certain condition of heat. So it refers to thermal comfort. Thermal comfort divided into 5, which is temperature, humidity, air distribution, personal preference, and acclimatization. So generally, human body temperature is 37.5 degrees Celsius. However, thermal comfort for human is between 23 degrees Celsius until 25 degrees Celsius. So basically, there are 5 basic concepts of thermal energy, which is first, conduction, second, connection, third, metabolic heat, fourth, environmental heat, and also radiant heat. So for the conduction is refer to two human touching each other, and the heat will be transferred between them. However, convection is heat flow following the gas or something that can be flow or from other places to the other places. However, metabolic heat is referred to energy or heat that produced by a human body by doing something activity that use their energy. Environmental heat is the external sources, while radiant heat is transmitted through spaces without the basic element. So basically, for the next slide, heat related disorder. So heat stress and heat strain is a different thing. Heat stress is a net heat that received by the human body from metabolic heat, which is everyone can feel it. However, heat strain is an individual reaction, each perception of human to adapt with the heat. So heat stress can be very dangerous because it will give you a heat rash, which is called as ruam, that can only lead to a chronic ill, which is from factors that humidity, dirt, and the heat itself.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asra Indonesia alias Hussein. I will present about the other head related disco. This is the heat maps that we can see. The heat rash, sunburn, heat cramps, fainting, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. For the first is heat rash is not so safe or safe manageable. And then for the heat cramp or fainting will be short consult doctor immediately. If the employee get the heat cramp or fainting, we should consult to doctor. And then the heat stroke risk of instant death means that the heat stroke is the most dangerous hazard of the heat. Okay, for the next slide is how to managing the heat stress in workplace or home works. There are two types of managing heat stress which is general and specifics. For the general, we have 5 of the program we can conduct, which is provide instructions, encourage drinking, permit safe limitation of exposure, counsel and monitor, employee work take medications, adjust expectation of those returning to work. This 5 is designed to general managing heat stress. If we have employee that get the heat stress, and then there's a type of specific managing heat stress, which is establish engineering control that reduce the metabolic rate, or consider administrative control that set acceptable exposure times. And the last is consider personal protection equipment PPE that has been demonstrated to be effective for the specific work practice and condition at the locations. The next slide is the cold stress. It is different from the heat stress. Heat stress from the heat maps like to heat for us in our body that higher our temperature of body. The cold stress is lower our temperature of body than the normal temperature. What is the cold stress? It is the disease of hypothermia. Is prolonged exposure to cold cause the body to lose energy faster than what is produced. And what is the factor of contributing the cold stress is can lower temperature, cool air, wet working condition, and cold water. That's all from me. Thank you.
So I will continue our presentation for the next part, which is the stages in hypothermia. The first stage for this hazard of temperature extreme is mild hypothermia. In this stage, the body temperature of the human is around 36 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius. The victim will face the symptoms like shivering, numbness in limbs, loss of dexterity, clumsiness, and they also will feel the pain from that cold temperature. So the victim should be alert if they face the symptom mentioned and need to seek treatment immediately. Then, the second stage is moderate hypothermia. The body temperature of the human for this stage is around 33 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. In this stage, the victim will face the same symptoms as mild hypothermia except for the shivering, which may decrease or stop. The next stage for this temperature hazard is severe hypothermia, where the body temperature of the human is around 32 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. For this stage, the victim shivering will decrease or stop, but they will face other symptoms such as confusion and loss of reasoning, slurred speech, and muscular rigidity. There are also certain cases that are worse where the victim is semi to unconscious. Finally, the last stage of hypothermia is critical hypothermia. The body temperature of the human for this stage is less than 27 degrees Celsius. So this is a very serious stage where the victim will face dangerous and unexpected symptoms. The intended symptoms includes eyes dilated, the body being rigid, as well as little breathing, and a slower pulse make the victim appear unconscious or dead. Now, I will go for the next part, which is first aid for hypothermia. There is a lot of first aid that can be given to the victims suffering from hypothermia for each stage. Firstly, for mild hypothermia, aid can be given to the victim by avoiding further heat loss, giving warm and sweet liquids, using a mild heat source, exercising to produce heat, and also covering their head and neck. Second, for moderate hypothermia, this hazard can be overcome by giving them limited exercise, giving warm liquids to the victim who is fully conscious, ensuring that the liquid given to the victim does not contain alcohol, and lastly, the victim must be checked by medical doctor. Then for severe hypothermia, where the victim is in serious trouble, aid can be given to the victim by using an external heat source, avoiding jarring the victim, do not make them drink or consume food, and transporting them gently to the hospital. Last but not least, for critical hypothermia, we cannot give up easily and must handle it with extreme care. This type of hypothermia can be overcome by tilting the head to open the airway and doing a CPR, stabilizing the temperature using an external heat source, and lastly sending the victim to the hospital immediately if there is no effective method.
Next is frostbite. Frostbite is an injury caused by freezing of the skin and underlying tissues. In the earliest stage of frostbite, known as frostnip, there is no permanent damage to skin. Symptoms include cold skin and prickling feeling followed by numbness and inflamed or discolored skin. How frostbite happen? Most serious and second common cold exposure hazard. Affected area doesn't get enough heat and freeze. Freezing of deep layer of skin pale, waxy white skin color. Skin become hard and numb, usually affect fingers and hand, toes and feet, ears and nose. And the symptom mechanism. Freezing cause blood vessel constriction. Result in lack of oxygen, excess fluid buildup, blistering and tissues dead. May not be aware anything bad is happened. Next is recognized by distinct pallor of the exposed skin. Skin goes from white or grayish yellow to reddish violet to black. Usual feeling of being really cold then numb. May get a tingling or itching feeling or brief pain. Prevention to failure. It can damage to skin, sometimes cause blister and constrict blood vessel, impair blood flow. It also can cause permanent tissue damage and victim can become unconscious. Death may result from heart failure, and if necessary, seek medical assistance and give CPR. Next is cold stress management. General control. Ensure all employees understand cold stress hazard. Ensure employees exposed to cold stress hazards are in good health condition. Provide hot drink and regular breaks. Provide high-calorie food and avoid coffee as it increases dehydration in the body. Buy clothing. Anything that can protect your skin. Can use proper clothing in few layers so that air is trapped and acts as a barrier from body losing heat. Also use clothing made of fabric synthetic such as polypropylene. Next is skin burn. Skin burn is a tissue damage that results from heat overexposure to the sun or other radiation or chemical or electrical contact. Burns can be minor medical problem or life-threatening emergencies. Skin burn disrupt the normal function of skin in two layers of skin. Outer layer called as epidermis and inner layer that called is dermis, cutis or corium. And the function of skin are for protection, sensation, heat regulation, secretion, accretion and respiration. That's all.